So hello. So on the SEC Lounge SIG, so obviously the first product we do have is the annual CTF that I guess at least some of you play, I hope. So on this side, on this year, sorry, we have nearly 150 challenge and 200 players, which is a new record we established. I guess you will see again tomorrow. We have a nice battle there happening on this CTF that we are building now for years. In the past, we found it was a bit sad not to reuse the content that was established for the annual conference. So from there, we launched 2 projects last year, which are going quite well, I would say. One is to have what we call the permanent CTF, which we foresee as a new platform open to all, where we start to host challenges that have been built over the last year for everyone to replay. And we have a bunch of very good ideas to make it really useful for the community. So we'll regroup challenges by topics, so you kind of know on which track you would like to go. But there are also ideas to tag them with the skills that are addressed by the challenge and what you should learn from the different challenges. So that's one. A bit on the same line, we also started last year doing replays. So we have the content that is built for the annual conference, is brand new. But we have redo the CTF in a few occasions. So the first one was for the first event with LACNIC in Brazil, followed by an event in Luxembourg organized by Circle. And then finally, we had one for Norway. And this year we'll continue again with one in Asia, one for Laos and Cambodia, one in Luxembourg, probably one in Brazil, and potentially one in Africa, if it gets confirmed. So all of that with this idea that all the content which is produced is used and reused by the community, hoping that we do reach new audience and we do bring people in. And it's also why the SIG is now willing to evolve and slightly reorganize itself, and for which we search for volunteers. So if there are volunteers in the room, we'll try to find people that can help developing challenges, but still being able to play, because today people that do develop are usually not allowed to play. So we'll find contributors that can come with 1 or 2 challenges, but still be able to play. People that can support with the organization of those replay, which are also time consuming and sometimes just required to help the user, assist, guide. So they don't necessarily need to be super inventive with challenges, but the effort and the contribution there is critical if you want to make it successful. And a bit on the same line for the permanent CTF, we would like to make it a bit more organized. And there again, we'll search for people to help and contribute there. So all of that should allow to make something sustainable and useful for the community. Yes, there was another point for you. And on top, sorry, we had a small project still, which is the small project, which is actually quite a whole project. When the SIG was established, and probably you can see it on the SIG, on the first SIG webpage, there was this idea of hackathon, which for us is very much something that goes in the line of also the CTF, where we would call for, we'll try to see if we can set up that for next annual conference. But the idea is to take a day before the conference, call for a bunch of projects that are useful for the community, and bring all the people interested around the project around the day, and just make things. So when you come back, the project is somewhere started, you know the people will work on it, and you have a clear goal. And obviously all of that is also now supported by some sponsor, because we tend also to need this financial support to make it sustainable on the long term. And that's it for the SEC launch. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much, David. Next up is the AI SIG with Aaron Kaplan.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So short background. Well, thanks for coming so early in the morning. But short background on the AI SIG. Many of us had this sort of aha moment when ChatGPT appeared in 2022 in November. And many of us realized that it was actually quite important for our field, or might be very important for our field. And I especially had the feeling like everything was going too fast. And I just wanted to like have this community to assess like how this is going and where this is going and understand where this is going and share the most relevant papers and insights, etc. So we had a meeting in Dublin where we swapped notes and quickly decided we would like to have a SIG. So thanks very much for the boards to enable this and to make this possible. It was done very quickly. We started to have weekly calls, which is well, I haven't seen a SIG which has weekly calls. It's like quite a lot of work, especially organizing like talks every week. But it pays off because the field is developing so quickly. And since then we had around 40 meetings. Almost all of them had a presentation. Many of the presentations came from this group here. It's really cool. They're automatically summarized via LLM actually. And yeah. And we established a sort of one rule for the Fight Club rule. If you want to join the SIG, is you need to share knowledge. That means give a presentation, talk about something that you read an interesting paper or a framework that you're using, etc. So this really, really helps. So you can see it's very active. Here's a QR code to join. We have all our meeting notes, thanks to Grace, in the wiki. And you can actually just sign up for holding a presentation if you want to. Here's the QR code for that. Yeah, and this helps us to stay up to date in the field, and that's pretty valuable. Yeah, we had pretty cool presentations. So in summary, we're very active, 182 members currently and counting. Still have to, accept some. If you want to sign up to the AI SIG, please mention in the sign up form that something that you heard about it at FirstCon, so that I know, because we try to keep out like just some random submissions from the internet where we don't know that person and nobody knows that person and it's not trusted. Yeah, and that's it. Des, may I sneak in like 2 slides for Automation SIG and Passive DNS? Okay, we have time. Okay, so Automation SIG is less frequent, it's once per month. We also have very good presentations there. It's we had like a meeting here as well. It's also a very important topic for many organizations, how to automate their incident response in a more classical way. Doesn't need to have AI in it, but just as relevant. So if you're interested in that, join that. You can also join that from the FIRST website. And then there's another one. And this is probably the slowest one of all of them, but it's the most fruitful in the sense of publications. After years, we're actually now at the independent submission track at the IATF with this document. It's a document about passive DNS. And it took the first conference in Dublin, I believe, and some people from the IATF to come over to see that we were stuck with the internal workings of the IATF, and they found a way how to bring it from the DNS working group to the independent submission track. And then it will be there. Voila, finished. Right in time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Next up is the DNS Abuse SIG with Swapnil.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Swapnil. I'm one of the coaches of the DNS Abuse SIG, along with Peter and Jonathan. So just a little background before the update. Prior to FirstCon 22, the SIG published the DNS Abuse Techniques Matrix, which basically maps the various DNS abuse types and the stakeholders in terms of detection, prevention, and mitigation. So the document is already available on the DNS Abuse SIG page. It has also been translated in Japanese, Thanks to Shoko from JP SIRT for doing that. It has also been incorporated in BISP Galaxy as well as STIX event type vocabulary as well. So since then, we decided to basically create more details pertaining to each abuse type, basically to create a sort of a guidance or an how-to document, which can enable, say, a detection engineer to write a script, or say, for example, a system administrator to ideally, to implement controls in terms of either eliminating or limiting the abuse. And we have made some progress pertaining to that. We've also decided to publish incremental updates, the guidance updates pertaining to each of those abuse types, instead of waiting for completing all of them and then publishing. So I think in the context of prevention, DGA and domain name compromise are two particular abuse types, which hopefully we are planning to publish on the DNS Abuse SIG page. So maybe this month or the next. Aside from that, there is a DNS Abuse SIG meeting today at 10:30. So if you work in the DNS anti-abuse space, and if you find something which is missing, or you have pertaining feedback to what we have done so far, please join the meeting, or better join the SIG as well. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Raymond. And next up is gonna be Ibrahim with the Law Enforcement SIG.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ibrahim Khalid Al Mahmoud. I'm a seconded officer from Qatar, working in Interpol Cybercrime Directorate as a coordinator. So recently we established a Law Enforcement SIG, Special Interest Group. We just kicked off our first meeting, which was on Monday. And we just created a Law Enforcement Special Interest Group working plan. This is a detailed working plan in order to create a clear strategic understanding for the Law Enforcement Special Interest Group, in order to ensure continuity and the productivity of our work. So just a quick overview about the Law Enforcement Special Interest Group. So from Interpol perspective, we have saw that there is some challenges between the SIRTs and law enforcement in order to cooperate in the national wise. So we established this working group in order to the cooperation enhancement and also communication exchange. Last but not least, to build the standards and guidelines. So as this Law Enforcement Special Interest Group is new, I would like to just go through the goals of this working group. The first one is to foster a better understanding by both the SIRTs and the law enforcement, enhance the knowledge about the existing channels, enable a closer contact between these two elements. Last but not least, to develop processes for engagement, either proactive activities or reactive activities. So going through the working plan. The working plan basically was build off the structure of the group. We distributed the roles and responsibilities, and also 4 phases for our work. If we would like to go through the execution phase, it will be like about 4 main activities. We hope to meet in person and during the first annual conference, to meet twice a year and virtually. Also, we are looking toward possibilities to deliver trainings for our SIG members in order to enhance the cooperation between these two parties. Last but not least, we are also looking toward possibilities to to present our capabilities with regards to how to effectively cooperate in the national voice. So we divided the life cycle for the year into three sections. As I mentioned, we will meet once a year in person and twice virtually, and we hopefully will deliver a training, and also we are looking toward possibilities to have a panel discussion or something like that in order to present our work to enhance this cooperation between these two elements. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Next up is Raja with the Malware Analysis SIG updates.
Good morning, Raja Jaspers. I'm one of the co-chairs for the Malware Analysis SIG. We have our co-chair here, James Potter, and Andreas, who's not able to make it. We have about 70 members, so we did scrub the list from last year to this year. So if you did get scrubbed, please join again. Let us know how you want to participate. We're working through our version 2 for the malware analysis framework. So we did publish the first version last year, and then we're working on that this year to release that in the fall. So one of our goals this year is to collaborate more, but using Slack instead of just the bi-weekly meetings that we have due to the time zones. And then if you have any questions, just reach out to James or myself, as we'll be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raja. And next up is Logan with the Metrics SIG update.
Hello, thank you so much. I'm Logan Wilkins with the Metrics SIG. I'm from Cisco Systems. I'm one of the co-chairs. My other co-chair is Robin Ruffle from CERT CC at Carnegie Mellon University. So sometimes I feel a little apologetic for the Metrics SIG. It's not quite as sexy as malware analysis or whatever, law enforcement or whatever. But actually, we have a lot of interest. I was just double checking before I got here. We have 70 members in the Metrics SIG. We had a nice, exciting meeting a couple of days ago. 30 people showed up. And so there's quite a bit of energy and interest that I'm seeing from folks in the Metrics SIG in that space. And I was thinking back to Megan Drew's talk where she was talking about the finance and the administration folks. And, Metrics is one of those things that plays a super important role in all of what we do. So I'm really excited about what we've got going on and what we have planned. So we had a great year last year. So I'm going to talk about 4 wins that we had, and then I'm going to look forward to next year. We have six things that I want to give you an update on. So looking back to last year, we've been working for a bit of time on a timing metrics document, and we have that completed. We just need to get last mile. We need to get it published and available and socialize it a bit. So this is the document that outlines just incident metrics across an incident timeline. The next thing that we have going on is we are mapping a set of metrics directly to the CSIRT services framework. We've been working on this for a bit of time, and we've made significant progress with the group that's been working on this. We meet every other week, and it's a working session. We also work offline using Slack. We're about 50% of the way through going through the CSIRT services framework and then creating for each functional area at the bottom of the individual items, right? There's a set of functions, and we map metrics to the functions individually. So we're working on that, looking forward also to socializing the work that we've been done and getting that out and publicized. Another thing that we've done the past year is just a couple of training. With the first training we've done, did a training event at the NC Cybersecurity Boot Camp in Spain, and then one here. So 6 items looking ahead. I'm going to watch. I don't want to get dinged here. We want to publish the timing metrics document. I talked about that. We really want to socialize the part of the framework metrics that we're doing, but also finish it up. We're 50% of the way. I'm certain that we can get it completed this year. In our meeting, when we talked about the framework metrics, we had some questions around CSIRT services framework. what about other organizations? What about a PSIRT or a national CERT? And how do we make the work that we're doing relevant beyond really just on the CSIRT services framework? How do we make that relevant? So we're going to spawn an initiative that's going to look at different functional areas, different types of CERTs, organizations, and get a common look or mapping there that we need. We have a proposal on a digital maturity scoring system that has come from FIRST liaison here, Rohit, and we're looking at the possibility of getting that off the ground. It's something similar to the SIM3, but for a broader digital maturity across all of the organization, not just your CERT. And then finally, we're trying to coordinate on Slack and do a lot of work on Slack, but we also want to have regular meetings, right? So we're looking at other groups that are having bi-weekly meetings. We have working sessions, but we haven't had a lot of regular meetings from the metric SIG itself. So we're going to try to get a lower cadence, probably every other month, where we have a group meeting and we do some presentations, information sharing. If that's popular, then we'll increase the frequency. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Logan. And next up is John with the NETSEC SIG. Thank you.
Everybody, my name is John Christoph, and I'm one of 5 co-moderators of the NETSEC SIG, which formed or had beginnings in 2022 at the Dublin conference. And I think sometime by early 2023, it officially became a SIG. So one of the newer SIGs. We currently have just over 50 members. We've mostly attracted people by word of mouth. So we haven't done a whole lot of advertising, and maybe that's kind of a good thing for some of the things that we've discussed. We're interested mainly in anything in the incident response arena related to or pertaining to networking and security. So things like the routing system, the naming system, availability, DDoS attacks, that sort of thing. We've had we have a number of very lively discussions. Most of the activity takes place on our biweekly Zoom calls. And we also have a mailing list in Slack. You don't have to be a member of FIRST to join, but if you are, you're more or less accepted sight unseen, because we know you've had some reasonable amount of trust and vetting already to become a FIRST member. If you're not a FIRST member, you can join also. We do a little bit of verification of who you are to make sure you're a real person, but we're not a super uber secret club. But we have had probably 3, 4, 5 discussions talking about things that weren't not yet published, some pre-publication vulnerability things. So it's been kind of an interesting group so far. Now, if we open the floodgates, maybe that'll change somewhat as more people join, but that's how it's been going. We've been publishing slowly. There's a blog post that went on the FIRST blog in the last 6 months or so on the topic of ROAS, which is an RPKI mechanism for securing your routes, and how that ought to be preferred over the physical piece of paper called the LOAS, the letter of authorization. We have some ideas for a couple others, some more involving routing security and some bogons, some best practices for improving peering relationships using a mechanism called GTSM. So these are all things we could use help with, by the way, since we're all volunteers trying to get this work done on our own spare time. A couple other things to mention. We have started doing a training session, which was actually happening after the end of this conference. One of our co-moderators, Rick, is helping put that together. Myself and Marika are actually going to do training on some network security fundamentals, covering some BGP, RPKI, DNS, DNSSEC, security community topics on Saturday. I don't know if there's any openings to still join, but if you're interested, certainly come talk to one of us about that. And we hope to do more of that sort of thing in the future. So again, our topics generally range from quite a number of things. The Zoom calls are the most lively, but we have things on a mailing list, like there's a couple of series. One is the internet last week, which tells about sort of the important events that happen on the internet, like major outages or major releases of internet infrastructure components or major changes. And then the weekend read, which is a short list of things that usually pertain to network and security. Those are usually long form reads, might be a research paper or a blog post that might have fallen on your radar that may be of interest. We've talked about things, BGP hijacks recently, some things that are not in the news about that, some route leaks, related sorts of things, some scanning, bulletproof hosting providers. So if all those sorts of topics are of interest to you, we encourage you to come join us and join in on the fun. It's been really good so far, and we hope to see ourselves grow over the next 6 to 12 months. So by the time we give this update next year, I suspect we'll probably be at least double in size by then, probably over 100. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Next up is Rick with the Cyber Threat Intelligence SIG.
From the Cyber Threat Intelligence SIG update reports for 2023 to 2024. The SIG is coached by Krasimir Setarov from the Purdue University of the United States and myself, Hendrik Adrian from LASER, like Tokyo Chairman. On behalf of the CTI SIGs, I'm chairs. I presented this report. So for overview, the site is still in the underpass of the global SIG CTI established in the February 2018, with currently having 165 registered member with around 30 active member right now. The meeting is every second Wednesday with 10 to 20 members per meetings, and the goals is same as previous year, which you can see in the slides. To create educational and training material for CTI, to prepare the new CTI analysts and propose standard terminology across the CTI industry, provide briefing and training on contemporary and emerging CTI topics, which is quite one of our routine, and help new teams to establish CTI program from scratch. So philosophy is the same, and we are still focusing to the quality over quantity, and we're not trying to gain a large number of the members, but want to make sure that people who join are interested in the more participations. The 6 outputs are CTI curriculums, events, and trainings or workshops, with a description that you can see in the slide right now. And activities for the 2003 to 2004 are, we release 1 new versions of the curriculum. You can see in the next slide. And then we release materials on how to set up the CTI team and supporting collateral for member to use. And we supported first CTI events and increased number of presentations during the meetings, with encouraging more members in sharing and contribution. And recently, realignment to task assignment and increased the cadence for members. So recent achievements, project and goals is, this is one of the achievement is first CTI curriculum version 3.5 is released that contains priority intelligence requirement or PIR, more examples of the threat modelings and CTI tool setup reference. And lastly, plan to reorganize and restructure the curriculum content. Then building the new CTI team is supported with CTI starter kit slide for business and technical stakeholders, and also the threat intelligence program maturity phases. So chapter 5 is about the overall plans for the next year, which are scaling up and developing the CTI curriculum into better structure, more contents, and additional white papers. Increasing presentation and training that can be seen in the directory shown in the screen, or you can see it in the QR code in the screen right now. And the translation for curriculums to other languages we pick at this moment is Japanese, Spain, and France. Then the curriculum development for plan for 2004 are restructuring the curriculum itself and adding the chapter of the request for information or RFI chapter in the CTI process, and adding chapter of the communicating uncertainties in CTI reports. Then we try to set our focus this year on the collection methods and best practice, exploitations of digital media and GIS system, and then we increase more focus for the mobile analysis itself. And for the CTI team maturity phases, we will expand the more definition that and developing the CTI. This is a very interesting one, tabletop exercises programs. And of course, we will try to develop more recommendations on doing the CTI best practice. Then we start to release our curriculum development cycle, which is members to present idea and proposal, and to share the documents with the proposal to review, and to discuss, develop shared documents, and publish it to the wiki, and we can translate afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ray. And next up is Tom. We have the updates for the TLP SIG.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? How y'all doing? Okay. All right. Yeah, it's a little sleepy little village in here. So I'm Tom Millar. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Traffic Light Protocol SIG. Raise your hand if you don't know what Traffic Light Protocol is, and somebody will see you to the door. So what we've been doing since the release of Traffic Light Protocol 2.0 in Dublin has been working on a set of use cases. The meetings have been monthly, and we actually don't have that many like really active regular participants in the meetings. So I really encourage anybody who's interested in expanding on use cases for TLP to join us and participate in those. We try to make them convenient for most time zones that are participating. We could expand to 2 if we had more members, but right now we're settled on 1 that's in the afternoon in Europe and in the morning in the US or Canada. And anyway, Laurie, would you say like we have like 6 to 9 people on a monthly basis? So we really only we have under 10 people usually on the meetings, but we're working our way through a set of use cases that we drafted before last year's meeting in Montreal. And we are slowly chipping away at them, making sure the language is absolutely as precise and easy to understand as possible. And then publishing them on the FIRST website as we get completed with 1 set of use cases. So we've completed 2 sets of use cases so far that you can go to the FIRST website TLP page. And from there, you can navigate to TLP use cases. You will see a set of use cases for sharing with your service providers, which clarifies sort of like if you receive something that is TLP Amber Strict, can I share that with my service provider? The answer is no, but it clarifies that in some extent. And then there's also one for originators of TLP marked information. So, and the next one I think that we're working on that we're almost complete is on portion marking for TLP. So how you can have a document that has different levels of TLP within it. That is to say, you have a document that is mostly TLP red, but maybe also has some TLP amber or TLP green inside of it. How do you mark that document and get people to understand where the delineation is between the different colors? And then we've still got about 4 more sets of draft use cases that we still need to process and edit and eventually upload to the website. And then after that, we're going to see what happens. But yeah, we're still TLP is not still is still shouldn't say evolving. We're still working on trying to make sure that TLP is as clear and as useful as possible for everyone. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Tom. And next up is Trey giving us an update on the standards. Oh, Trey and Brian, yes.
The Mac. Morning, everybody. Everybody have a nice time last night? Yeah? Excellent.
Maybe we'll actually display here in a minute.
So last year in Montreal, we had a standards BOF, and that resulted in a series of calls that resulted in the drafting of a charter that was approved in January by the FIRST board. Go FIRST board. Go Brian's VPN.
That's right.
And so we're going to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing since. We have 5 co-chairs in the standards committee. Not all of them are here. We have a variety of familiar faces, some perhaps to you, who are participating in the standards committee, and they help to steer the broader standards community, which is now up to about close to 70 people. I don't remember what the last count was. So we have a meeting once a month on the 4th Tuesday, and Grace facilitates that, helps us keep notes. There are some notes on the wiki. I think one of our goals for 24-25 is to have all the meeting notes on the wiki. Anyway, sometimes beginnings are awkward. If anyone has ever raised a child, they know. So it's welcome to all. We have the mailing list in the Slack, which we typically use. And you're welcome to join. You don't have to be a first member. All are welcome. If there's someone in your organization who's involved in standards, they don't even have to be on your first team. Just sort of point them in our direction. Give them the sign-up sheet. We'd like to have broader coverage of standards development around the world because that impacts on our community. And with that, I'll hand it over. Oh, wait, no, sorry. This is my last slide in this. So this is our sort of standard format. We have people who are active in a bunch of different standards development organizations outside of FIRST. So we start off our call with a sort of round table of what's going on that we know of that might be of interest to our members, where there might be some standard that we would want to consider doing a public, like a comment review internally. And then what's going on new with FIRST standard SIGs, and then a presentation. That's our usual format. We try to stick to it, and you're welcome to join the 4th Tuesday of every month, Brian.
Thank you, Trey. All right. So this is a list of the standard organizations that we are tracking.
It's not, the names aren't complete.
That's correct. This is what we have today. And the humans in the committee that are helping to adjudicate standard changes, although we are always looking for more and would greatly appreciate it. All right, this is our basically our workflow to make sure that we can get changes that need to be reviewed in and out and back up to the standards body, and not get overwhelmed by all changes. So the last one we completed was an update review to the incident handling standard at NIST. A quick update on the incident reporting draft. Just here we held a BOF, which is great. Had lots of participation, broke the fire marshal's rules. We're looking for more input. Just real quick, we have our MITRE team back on contract to get the work done. So woo!
We being CISA,
Yes.
not FIRST.
Yeah, this is true. This is a thing, but we are looking for additional sponsors and collaborators because this should be a global standard. All right, so you can read the rest of that. So next actions, if you want to join, please come and be part of the standards committee. And if you have any questions, please find Trey or I. Thank you. I think that's it.
Thank you very much, Trey and Brian. So next up, we're going to see a few videos, and the first will be from the CVSS SIG. And just to keep you all also informed, please check the schedule. There are still a few SIGs that didn't have their weekly meetings yet, amongst others the cyber threat intelligence, and go to those meetings. It's the best way to just learn about them, talk to the people, and really get into working with those groups.
Hello, this is Nick Leally.
And I'm Dale Rich.
And we are the co-chairs of the CVSS SIG. It's been a busy year for the CVSS SIG. Since the last FirstCon meeting in June in Montreal, the CVSS SIG released a draft version of our new standard, CVSS version 4. After a period of public comment, as well as responding to those comments, a final version of CVSS version 4 was released in November 2023. Since then, some early adopters have begun publishing the first version 4 scores, and official support was added by the CVE program in May 2024. There are a number of new features in the CVSS version 4 standard.
So in CVSS version 4, we added some additional base metrics and some new metric values, including safety. So for the first time, human safety can be considered when assessing technical vulnerabilities. The former metric group called temporal has been replaced with threat, and some other metrics were retired or renamed for clarity. Now, generally speaking, we want to stress the importance of using the threat and environmental metric groups. Consumers of the standard will get better use of the resulting scores when these attributes are used. Understanding threat, when consumers can understand which vulnerabilities have been weaponized, which may have publicly available proof of concept code or instructions, and which might not apply to either of those categories, they will be able to better prioritize the vulnerabilities that are most important. Also, applying some of your compensating controls specific to your environment and the criticality of the vulnerable system will also help consumers prioritize vulnerabilities better. The overall idea is to lower the scores for many of the potentially less important vulnerabilities, even if they have high CVSS base scores. And as a result, the really dangerous vulnerabilities will still have high scores, allowing you to target what's most important to your organization. New training has been developed, and we encourage anyone interested in getting the most out of CVSS to attend the training found at first.org/CVSS.
With the release of the new standard, there has been quite a bit of growth in the CVSS SIG, and that has brought some change. Traditionally, the SIG has been made up mostly of scoring providers, vendors, but we're hearing more from scoring consumers, those who are using CVSS in their environments. This has changed some of the conversation within the SIG. Now we're focusing more on making CVSS easier to consume and use, and that work will continue in the near future. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jay Jacobs.
And I'm Stephen Schaefer.
And we are 2 out of the 3 SIG chairs for the EPSS SIG, and we wanted to give you a quick update about what we've been doing and where we're headed. So to begin, we have over 500 members. We've had a kind of a hard time counting, but over 500 members, and we're growing every week. Right now, a lot of the questions that we get is basically, is EPSS score being affected by NVD? And the answer is yes. We have not quantified it yet. And it's basically only for the new ones being published, which of course, in vulnerability management is a lot of what people care about. And so we are being affected. We are exploring options, and we are going to be retraining the EPSS algorithm very soon now. And so there's going to be a day we will try to announce it and push it and let people know that we're going to change over to a new model. And on a certain day, we may see some scores jump around, but we're going to be retraining that and pushing that. Stephen?
Yep. Thanks, Jay. And what we've been doing within the SIG itself is focusing a lot on interoperability and how we can apply EPSS within the vulnerability management, various frameworks, various regulations, various best practices, so that we can actually utilize the strengths of EPSS as a probability within those paradigms. And one of our SIG members, Chris Madden, has taken the liberty to really gather a lot of those different frameworks and how to sort of apply EPSS within them. So I encourage you to visit that link. It's very, I guess, in depth, but it also has a lot of, back of the napkin math about why some of this stuff works and why it doesn't, and how to apply it. I also encourage you to go check out his recent talk at BSides Dublin. But essentially, within the interoperability subgroup, we're focusing a lot on how do we apply EPSS as a probability within various vulnerability management frameworks to utilize it to its strengths. On the flip side of that, within the SIG, we're pushing for members to come present on their experience with EPSS, but also really anything around vulnerability management that they have experience with that they want to sort of come and talk to us about, get feedback from us, not just us, but the entire SIG as a whole. And then also getting to a point where when new members come in, or we have presentations, every week or every other week when we meet, just so we get a little bit more participation from the SIG. So we're going through some sort of an evolution here, and we're hoping the future is bright for EPSS. So,
Yeah.
Jay, anything else?
Nope. Hope everyone has a good time at the conference in Japan, and thank you for listening.
Thanks all.
Hi everyone. Such a shame my co-chair Katja Dörlemann from SwitchSet and myself, Cornelia Putze, also SwitchSet in Switzerland, can't be here today to introduce our new and growing SIG to you, the human factors in security. It's been widely agreed that security is a wicked problem, and it's also been widely agreed that wicked problems are best approached in a truly interdisciplinary fashion. If we look at the security domain, the main approach so far has been a technological one, and we think we in this domain are missing a lot of different perspectives, and in this case, on the human aspect of security. So basically, we're not very good at thinking about people. What do I mean with people? Well, I mean your agency. So the decisions that are taken or not taken, the circumstances in organizations, social systems that can lead to breaches. So in other words, it's the circumstances and the context of the person who didn't patch. It's also the person who is using the same password on all the different accounts. But it is also the burnt out open source developer who gets social engineered by criminals because they're the only nice people who value his efforts. And it's also the person who gets curious and a little bit suspicious about a second-long delay, starts digging, and saves us all from major disaster in the XZ library case. All of these cases have nothing to do with technology, but are all about people and the decisions that they take depending on the circumstances and the context they move in. So in our SIG, our mission is to improve the understanding of human factors in all their different varieties among security professionals. For that, we facilitate a regular exchange on different methods, on research, on measures and skills to effectively address human factors in security. For that, we have now set up a regular meeting. So we meet once a month where we always have a topic. Usually we invite an expert, such as a researcher or a practitioner, to talk about a specific subject. And these are the topics that I'm showing for the meetings that we are having. Some of them we already had this year. So I'd like to very much invite you to come along and join our SIG. If you, we're happy about everyone who joins in the discussion. You don't have to contribute. Of course, we're very happy for people to contribute in any of these areas that I've mentioned or that you can see on the slide. And this is how you sign up. It's like any other SIG. And I hope you have a marvelous conference. And I hope to see some of you either in our next SIG meetings or at the next FIRST conference somewhere.
Hello, I hope you all are enjoying the conference. I'm Sudhanshu, representing Red Team SIG. I hope you have heard about our SIG, as we have recently revived it, and I've taken over responsibility for SIG chair. to grow and run our red team and offensive security community. In month of April, we had a great reboot catch-up with all our SIG members. By the time you are getting this SIG update, hopefully, we would have already had our first sessions of guest talks and with some industry experts and professionals. There are many interesting formats of engagement planned in future. In coming weeks, we are also planning to have cyber tabletop exercise and CTFs besides our technical red team and offensive security focused talks. We would like to invite offensive and defensive security enthusiasts to join our SIG to collaborate, contribute, and benefit from our special community group. Thanks a lot for your time. I wish you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Hello again. I am back, and this time I am Khushali Dalal, Next Gen SIRT SIG chair. Now, I came up with this idea with having this forum, and I took up to my current manager, Derek Shaw, and he was so kind enough to introduce me to Pete and Josh, who are our current PSIRT SIG chair and co-chair. Now, this was a great opportunity for those who are new to the field, those who would want their voices to be heard and receive knowledge sharing. So I came up with this because I myself was in this boat, and I thought, we should have a next gen SIRT SIG where we gather on monthly basis. We talk about issues that we are facing as a newcomer in this field in the PSIRT community, and discuss topics that we can learn from each other. So with that, we are only 2 months old. I tossed this idea at our VulnoCon this year, which was our first time having the VulnoCon conference, and everybody loved it. I received 20 plus responses right there at the conference at the VulnoCon. And right now we are a team of 26 members. We had our first kickoff call in April, which went very well. We introduced each other from where we are. Everybody was scattered geographically. Somebody joined from Japan, somebody joined from West Coast in California. And I was amazed to see the responses that, how newcomers in the industry are excited about this gathering, this SIG group. With that, we have communication channels, our Next Gen SIRT SIG wiki page, mailing alias, as well as the Slack channel. And my co-chair, who has been wonderful support since I came up with this idea, Valerie from Red Hat. Thank you to her for understanding what I envisioned, and though she has been in the industry for a long time, she thought and saw the value in this SIG group, and she has been a great support since we have started this initiative. So that is our group, Next Gen SIRT SIG, where we get together on monthly basis. We give platform for those who want to present something that they are doing. For example, last time somebody somebody presented about the CVE program, and we are inviting Josh next month so that he can share with us the PSIRT initiatives, the programs, the projects that need resources, that need new set of mind to go through and work on the projects that are pending within our PSIRT community and contribute. So that's us. Again, feel free to reach out to us through our Slack channel, mailing alias, and thank you so much for your time and listening to my updates about my Next Gen SIRT SIG. Hello all. I hope you guys are enjoying the first conference 2024. I was able to join the Montreal conference last year. Unfortunately, I could not make it this year, but I hope you all are enjoying the conference to the fullest. and also are getting some time to explore the city. Now, I am Khushali Dalal. I am co-chair for the Women of FIRST SIG. I have been part of this SIG as a co-chair since earlier this year, and I have been a member for almost a year now. So to further develop the success of FIRST through increased female participation, leading to innovation in the field through diversity and inclusion, Women of FIRST SIG was introduced in August of 2019. Now, since I've been part of this team as a co-chair, we have done sessions which entitles guest speakers, social events, knowledge sharing, and networking gathering, so that we can talk about issues that we are facing as women of FIRST or women in cybersecurity, or things that we are learning on day-to-day basis at work, and literally like the culture, because everybody on the group, as you can see, there are 128 members right now and growing. So we represent multiple countries and different time zones. So it's very hard for us to do our monthly call for a time that works for everybody. But we do have recordings that we do every session, which we posted on our FIRST Women of FIRST wiki page, as well as on the Slack channel. So since I've been part of this SIG group as a co-chair, we have had a virtual scavenger hunt that we hosted, and shout out to Grace, who always welcomes my creative and sometimes a lot of asking questions topics and ideas, but she has been a great help and support with everything that I come up with, that all the ideas that I would want to work with our Women of FIRST SIG, and just make our group a fun group with supporting each other, motivating each other, and being there for each other. So that's Women of FIRST SIG, and I hope you got an overview of who we are, what we do, and when do we meet. So if you have any questions, you can connect with us through our Slack channel, or also send us an email through our mailing alias. With that, thank you so much.